Hello, I'm Jourdan and I'd like to take a few moments just to tell you a little bit about myself. I've recently graduated from Louisiana State University in Baton Rouge this past December, where I got my bachelor's degree in nutrition and food sciences. My concentration was in dietetics, and I minored in biology. I now live in New Orleans, Louisiana, where I was born and raised. I love spending time outdoors, and luckily I live right around the corner from the lakefront, so you'll often find me there running, bike riding with my niece, or at the dog park with one or all my dogs. I love to shop for, cook, and talk all things food. One thing that distinguishes me from other candidates is my outgoing nature. I love to be interacting and feeding off others. I'm passionate about helping others, whether that be reaching a goal, giving advice, or spending quality time together. I believe this stems from my love of community. My community of family and friends, my sorority, my cross-country team, and the community I found at LSU through my nutrition studies, like the Student Nutrition and Dietetics Association, and my classmates turned friends that'll last a lifetime. I'm drawn to Tulane because of the strong focus on community nutrition. Tulane offers site rotations covering so many different aspects of the dietetics field that I hope to experience in an internship. In talking with current interns at Tulane, I can sense how proud and motivated they are being a part of the Tulane team. I expect a well-rounded, rigorous experience at Tulane filled with hands-on application of my nutrition knowledge. I also expect to gain the skills and abilities to make me feel confident once entering the dietetics profession. I hope to further my involvement in community nutrition, and I hope to gain a new perspective of New Orleans' food culture. I first pursued the dietetics profession due to my passion for nutrition and helping others, but it wasn't until a mission trip to Belize that I knew that I had found my true calling. I've been blessed to go to college and receive this great education on nutrition that I feel all people deserve to be educated on. And I want to use my voice to educate the community on nutrition. In Belize, I had the privilege of educating the impoverished communities during a public health fair that we held. I was very surprised that so little was known on the value of nutrition. And from just a few short hours of discussing healthy food habits, the locals became aware of the impact on nutritional status and disease prevention healthy food habits can have. The experience was completely eye-opening and has inspired me to bring this awareness to the impoverished communities in New Orleans. After completing an internship, I will pursue a master's degree in nutrition from Tulane. And in 5 years, my goal is to assist and advocate for the impoverished women and children in this community here. A time I felt uncomfortable in a work situation was about 2 years ago when I started working as a sales representative at a locally owned health food store in Baton Rouge. Both the store owner and the manager knew I was pursuing a degree in nutrition and dietetics from LSU and thought I could add a new perspective to the work environment, being that it's directed at health and wellness. So after a month of working, both the manager and the store owner sat me down to review my job tasks and responsibilities and to feel out if I was comfortable with everything. And towards the end of the meeting, both of them instructed me that I would be forming meal plans for customers coming in who are seeking a new lifestyle or new wellness plan or were seeking a weight loss program. And the manager showed me a Word document filled with our breakfasts paired with lunches and dinners and showed me how I would orchestrate to the customer how they would follow this meal plan or this weight loss program. And in that moment, I was overwhelmed with the feeling of unease because I knew that this was unethical for someone to do who wasn't a credentialed registered dietitian. Because of my education at LSU, I knew that that wasn't in my wheelhouse. I was not legally able to do that. So I was a little bit conflicted on the inside for a moment, knowing that this was a new job to me and I wanted to go above and beyond to prove myself there still. But I felt the best way to handle this was through communication and just expressing my honest concern to them about how I felt. And I just told them what I had learned in my education, that nutritional advice given out by anybody except a credentialed professional is not ethical and is not legal. And both the store manager and the store owner had no clue what I was talking about. They started asking me questions and felt that I would be honest with them because I was honest in the beginning. I kind of opened up this gateway of communication between us, and from then on out, they felt like they could trust me with my honest concerns and opinions about things. And I feel like that was the best way to handle a situation of uncomfort at work. I knew they didn't mean any ill will by me saying no. They were okay with me doing that, and they learned something new in the end. And I feel I would carry that same outlook into a preceptor-preceptee relationship. If I felt uncomfortable in a certain environment during a rotation in the internship, I would just go to the preceptor and tell the truth, just express the whole situation and tell them my feelings about what's going on. And that's the only way that anything can change. As long as you are honest and open about what's going on, you just got to speak up and voice your opinions, and that's the only way change can happen. I have stuck to the same method of preparing for a major exam since high school. I always start by being proactive. I review the materials that are going to be covered in class before the lecture is actually taking place. That allows me to actively participate, ask questions, and take strong notes during the lecture. Note-taking is my key to success. Next, I will review my notes that evening in order to fully comprehend the material. I compile all my notes into master study guides, visual aids, flashcards, practice exams. When studying, I try to fully understand the concept instead of relying on memorization. After I've studied on my own, I really like to form study groups with my classmates. The best way to really know if you have a clear view of a concept is if you can completely explain it in thorough detail to someone else and ask questions about it. I'm currently the selling event specialist and sales manager at Boar's Head Deli Provisions here in southern Louisiana. So part of my job responsibilities are to travel out to the New Orleans, Baton Rouge, and Lafayette areas and visit the grocery stores that service our brand, and just coordinate with deli managers, hold promotional events, things of this nature. So this past summer, I was involved with the Sprouts grand opening grocery store event in Baton Rouge, and I was the only Boar's Head employee on duty at the time at Sprouts. I was to stand at the deli counter with Boar's Head, promote our brand to customers, have some face-to-face interactions, and really, just talk up different items we had there and what different items we will be servicing throughout the following year. So, as any other grand opening event, customers started pouring in, and there was just a big influx, and suddenly the staff felt understaffed. So everyone was under immense pressure to try to complete all the tasks and questions and everything that was going on from the customers coming in. And I slowly started to realize some of the employees started to ask me to do little work favors, like take orders from the customer at the deli counter, or slice a couple of the deli meats, or prepare salads and sandwiches customers were ordering, or reload spoons and knives and forks at the salad bar, things of this nature. And at first I was more than happy to help. I could tell that everyone was just on high alert, and so I was ready to do my part. And then I realized I was being treated a little unfairly in that I was helping them with their job tasks, but my job was being left undone. I wasn't able to talk to customers about our different items in the store. I wasn't able to ask or answer any questions that they had about who we are, what we do, what we provide. So I really felt like I needed to express my opinion to somebody, but I didn't want to confront anyone and make anyone feel more overwhelmed than the situation already was allowing. So I took a minute to myself and thought, how could I really have a win-win situation here? And I knew I had a notepad and a pen in my purse, and I thought, okay, what if I give this to the deli counter staff members and ask them to record the customer's order with the customer's name, and that way it's all written down. They'll rip it off and keep it in a pile. Somebody else can be cutting all the orders and really maneuvering all the salads and doing the actual preparation work. And then that way, once they're done, they can put it into a tray I'd assembled. I lined a tray with ice and kind of made it a makeshift pickup station where once the salad or the sandwich or the deli cut was finished, they could place that with the customer's name on it and it could be picked up by the customer. So all the customer would have to do is come up to the counter, order from somebody else would be fulfilling their preparation of their order, and they could go off shopping and come back to see that their order is on ice, ready to be picked up. This way, the whole line was just efficient and smooth running. One person was tasked to one in particular section so they could focus on one duty, and that's all. And while this was happening, I was able to get back to my job duties and really talk to the customers. And the customers actually reacted really well to the pickup station. And to this day at Sprouts, there is a pickup station next to the deli counter. So it really ended up being a good learning experience. That this pickup station at the counter actually works. And a lot of the staff members did learn what they were better at in terms of taking orders and customer face-to-face or preparation work, things of this nature. And I felt best just trying to find a win-win situation instead of a confrontation because it was already a high-pressured environment. I knew that everyone was on top of each other's toes and what was the best way to solve this quick and most efficiently. And it worked out, and it still provides some pros because the pickup station's still there. I'm better at working on many things at once. When I decided to add a biology minor midway through my bachelor's degree, there was a point where things could become overwhelming. I faced a heavy course load as well as my volunteer and work commitments that I'm very passionate about. I had a choice to either lighten my schedule or learn how to manage my time. It took determination and practice. I learned a skill, I thrived in that skill, and I will continue to use time management in my future. I thrive as a multitasker. It has been rewarding to be able to do all the things I love to do through efficient planning. During my medical nutrition therapy course at LSU, the class was broken up into teams of 5, where my teacher assigned us all topics, and we would later present on these topics in the semester. So my team didn't know each other well, but we got together in class and decided on 3 dates that all worked for us to meet up outside of class and compare ideas for the presentation, collaborate a little bit about what direction we thought we should go, and just compare research. And after 2 of our group meetings, we noticed one of our team members hadn't shown up for either. So from there on, we were a little bit panicked and were deciding a course of action to take, whether that be talk to our teacher and explain the situation, seeing what we should do, or if we should go to our team member and confront her. And I could tell the team had a little bit of an angry sense to it that a lot of the workload was falling on our shoulders, and I thought if we went to the teacher, there might be an angry undertone to it, or if we went to talk to the other team member, she may feel confronted and attacked, and nothing would be able to move on from there. So I volunteered to talk to our other team member after class one day and just check in. So that's what I did. The next class period, I pulled her to the side and asked her if she had written down our group meeting dates or if anything was happening. And I could tell she was a little bit uncomfortable with me bringing up the presentation. She did know our group meeting dates. She just kept trying to just answer by saying yes and no. So I asked her, I have free time after class. Why don't we just go for a walk and I can fill you in on what we've been doing, or we can just talk about what's going on? And it ended up being a long walk that we took through LSU's campus, and I discovered she suffered from severe anxiety, and it really is an effect in group settings and with deadlines like academic tests and presentations. She just really bottles up. And I suddenly knew that was why she hadn't shown up. It wasn't any ill will. She just felt uncomfortable and didn't know what to do, and she didn't know any of us well, so didn't feel like she'd reach out to us for help in the situation. And we made a connection. We just really bonded. I totally understand how she was feeling, and it is overwhelming being a big presentation in our class. So we talked and came to each other's same level and just really try to understand each other. And we ended up comparing notes about the presentation, and she had been working on it all along, just on her own. She had done her research, she had ideas for the presentation, she had a speech planned out she would speak, and after that she felt ready to come to our next group meeting where we would mock present what we would do in class for the presentation. And when she showed up, it actually ended up flowing really well. She had great research, great ideas that collaborated well with other team members. And all the other team members understood completely. Once they realized there was just miscommunication in the beginning, maybe in that first class meeting, she was a little intimidated by us planning these group meetings outside of class so suddenly. And maybe we just didn't recognize that we should make sure that everyone felt comfortable with how we were planning to go about this presentation. So the end result was all okay. We had a great presentation. I feel we handled it very efficiently and well, and we didn't have to get the teacher involved because it ended up just being a person-to-person interaction that needed to occur. And after that, we became friends. We ended up sharing notes in class later on, studying together, and that's all you can hope for, is making a connection with somebody and helping them through whatever they need to help, so that when you need help, others will come to meet you on the same level. I would like to thank Tulane University for the opportunity to submit this video application, and also to the selection committee for the time spent watching my video. I hope this video allowed you to see the passion and commitment I have to the dietetics profession.